बजी स्कूल की, चलो स्कूल तुमको पुकारे।
Good afternoon, dear students. My name is Rajneesh Tyagi, and I welcome to you all once again for the online classes. As you all know that nowadays we are going for the chapter The Enemy, and yesterday we took the first paragraph. It is the second day of this chapter, so here we go. A rooms was so small, the food so bad, the professor's wife so voluble. But he had gone, and there he had found Hannah. The house and the food of the professors, it was not so delicious. They did not Sadao did not like to go to the house of the professor, but he had gone to that place because he wanted to meet with that lady, or his present wife, whose name is Hannah. So he wanted to meet with Hannah. That's why he always tried to go to the house of the professor. He met with Hannah at the house of professor, a new student, and had felt he would love her if it were at all possible. A new student had come to that place, and he wanted to know each and everything about that lady. He was interested in that lady, and he was ready to fall in love with her, because finally he knew that the girl who had come, being a new student, not an American, she's also a Japanese girl. Now he felt her hand on his arm and was aware of the pleasure it gave him, even though they had been married years enough to have the two children. But once again, Hannah remind her that this is the present of our life, and we are already having two children, and the love of those people was so fresh, where they felt for each other very good, and the conditions in the relationship of those two couples was so good at the present time. Hannah wanted to make understand this thing to Sadao. It was a very quite happy family, and they were having very good standard of the life, and they were so happy in the country Japan with their all two children, for they had not married heedlessly in America. They had finished their work at school and had come to Japan. Had come home to Japan means, okay, they fell in love with each other in America, but firstly they have given first priority to their work. They have given first priority to their deeds, and because of that, they first of all they have finished their work, their duties in America. Being a student, they did a very good job, and then after finishing their studies, they came back to their own country Japan, and then they got married. It means these things makes us realize, and these things makes us understand that duties and the duties are the first thing in our life, which should be always completed first in our life, then we should proceed for the next things. We should proceed for the next thing. That was the thing which that was the thing which was really useful. That was the thing which was very gentle to understand for all the people. So we should always try to give the first priority to our job, our work, then we shall proceed for the next things. Sadao and Hannah had talked every over beforehand. They were perfectly happy. She laid her cheeks against his arm. These two couples was quite happy in their home, and they were having a very good life. They were so quite happy, and they were not having any problems. And they were so good, happy, and not having any problems and circumstances in the life. They spent each and every second in the life very good, with happily with each other. They understood too, because they got love married, and the understanding of those two peoples were so good, so happy, and so nice. It was this moment that both of them saw something black come out of the mist, and that was the first time in their life when they saw outside of the room, outside of the house, and they saw something like a black person coming in the mist, because it was the time of the cold season, and due to the mist they were not able to see that image, to see that shadow properly, but they felt something, that someone is there. It was a man, and yes, it was a man who was flung up out of the ocean. Flung, it seemed To his feet by a breaker, he staggered a few steps, his body outlined against the mist, his arms above his head. Then he curled mist and hid him again. And a person who was outside of the house, he was trying to come out, he was trying to crawling on his elbows and trying to save his life. Yes, something was there, but make not sure who was that person. He was Japanese, he was American, not sure. Hannah and her husband, they did not have any idea about that personality, that person, and they wanted to know. That's why they decided to go out and find out that person. Who's this? Who is that? Hannah cried. Hannah was crying because she didn't have any idea about this person. It was the first time in the life a person is coming to their house like in this situation. She dropped Sadao's arm and they both leaned over the railing of the veranda. They both the couples came out from the house. Now they saw him again. They saw him again. The man was on his hands and knees crawling. Then they saw him fall on his face and lie there. A fisherman, perhaps Sadao said, was from his boat. He ran quickly down the steps and behind him. They were trying to recognize this personality, that person who's there out of the house. Sadao said, perhaps he's a fisherman. And because of that thing, because it was a coastal area and many fishermen came to that place for the fishing, and that is why Sadao try to recognize that person and try to feel this. The person who is looking outside of the house, it's not an ordinary person, it's not very special for us, it's not a, he's not a guest, he's something like a fisherman. That's why Sadao said the person who's looking out of the house is a fisherman. And that person was trying to crawling on his elbows and try to come out properly, but not able to come out because he was wounded and he was having some problems. But Sadao said the person who's looking outside of the house, he's a fisherman. Hannah came, her white sleeves flying a miles or two away. On either side there were fishing villages. But here was only the bare and lonely closed, dangerous with rocks. That was the place where fishermen used to live, but far away from that house. And it was also a very dangerous place, a dangerous coast. So it was the first time when Hannah and Dr. Sadao came out far away from their house. The surf beyond the beach was spiked with the rocks somehow. The man had managed to come through them. He must be badly torn. The person who have found there, he was badly torn. The body of that person was badly torn, and the clothes of that person was also torn. He was not looking just like a fisherman. He looked like a soldier. They saw when they came toward him that indeed it was so. The sand on one side of him and had already a sudden stain of red shocking through. He is wounded, Sadao exclaimed. Sadao was feeling very bad. The person who have find out there, he was wounded badly, and that's why the body and the clothes of that person was totally torn. He made haste to the man. He was motionless, and they did not find out any motions in the body of that person who was looking motionless because he was fainted. But perhaps he was fainted because not able to come out properly on his feet. So that the person who have found out there was totally motionless, his face in the sand and old cap stuck to his head shock with the sea water. He was in wet rags of the garments. Sadao stopped Hannah at his side and turned the man's head. They saw the face. A white man, Hannah whispered. And they tried to recognize the personality and the person of that person. And whenever they saw the face of that person, Hannah cried and Hannah whispered, white man. A white man means perhaps he was an American and out of the Japanese people, the race out of the race of the Japanese people, and they were totally shocked because the person was not looking so good. He was wounded, and that clothes and the body of that person was totally badly torn, and that was the person was a white man. Hannah whispered. Yes, it was a white man. The wet cap fell away, and there was his wet yellow hair long, as though for many weeks it had not been cut. And when they tried to recognize the personality, he had long hairs, long yellow hairs, and a cap. They threw that cap away, and upon his young and tortured face was a rough yellow beard, and they could have seen the beard on his face, which was looked so tortured. And perhaps you may understand that the person who have been found there, he was an American person. He was a soldier. He was unconscious and knew nothing that they did for him. And fortunately or unfortunately, those two couples did not have any idea about this person who have found at the coast of the sea, and looking very suspicious to those people. It was a great mystery for those two people. Now Sadao remembered the wound, and his expert fingers he began to search for it, because he was a great surgeon, great scientist, and was a specialist of the surgery. That's why the expert fingers of Dr. Sadao were trying to recognize, were trying to touch the wounds of that person, the wounds of that person who was badly wounded. Blood flowed freshly at his touch. On the right side of his lower back, Sadao saw that a gun wound had been reopened. The flesh was blackened with the powder sometimes. Not many days ago, the man had been shot and had not been tended. It was had chance that the rock had struck the wound, and they were trying to recognize that thing, that person who have been founded, who's badly wounded, and have been find out that place. Perhaps it was the major accident with that person. Perhaps many other peoples have tried to kill him, or he had some mystery with the other peoples. That's why he's very badly wounded right now. And those two people, Mrs. Hana and Dr. Sadao, they were being a good people, being a good human, trying to recognize the personality and trying to know that what should we do now, because it was the biggest questions for those two people, and this is the biggest question to you also, that being a doctor, Dr. Sadaos save that person, or being a patriot of the country of Japan, he should surrender him to the police station or the army. So what will you do? And what should be the real answer, what should be the real solutions of this question? So this is the questions to all the students. You will write down in your notebook that we should what should be, according to the Dr. Sadao, he should uh, he should be practical being a doctor, or he should be practical being a patriot of the Japanese country. So it was the explanation of the day, and dear students, we will meet tomorrow with the new explanations of the paragraphs. Till then, take care, have a stay healthy at your homes, and do subscribe my channel, share it, like it, and give your supports, and we will have a fun, we will have wonderful studies there. Till then, take care, have a great day, bye bye.